Yeah, I did the Death Reaper challenge a few days ago, and admittedly, man, that stuff, and I can tolerate spice, but that stuff was next level hot, man. So yeah, pretty much put me out the past couple days. I mean, I've been fine. I mean, it just took a while to purge all of that spiciness, if you know what I mean. So yep. So now I'm back in action, out here getting some burning some fat. Doing the fat burn walk. And I want to do, again, seriously today, definitely want to try to do a live show from the studio, but just want to connect with all of y'all during the live walk as usual, and chat about everything that's coming this week. Obviously tomorrow, the October, what is tomorrow, the 18th, Apple is having their launch event, so we expect to see probably the new M1X MacBook Pros. And again, it's not, I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's a newer tech, and I'm always excited about that, but I'm very comfortable with the original Mac M1. So I've got the Apple iMac M1 with 16 gigs memory and 1 terabyte, and then I've got the MacBook Air M1 with 8 gigs of RAM and 512 gig storage. So that duo, I've got in-studio performance, I've got portability. I mean, it's great. I mean, having those two systems. Now, apparently, the new MacBook Pros that are going to release, or expected to release rather tomorrow, are there's rumors that the memory can probably go greater than 16 gigs. But truthfully, and I mean, everybody's got their own workflows and business needs, but truthfully, I've never encountered a situation with either my iMac or my, oh, there's a cell phone, man. That's creepy. That is creepy, just in a abandoned parking lot there. Let's see what we got here. That's kind of concerning. Cracked screen. Now, if I had ill intent, I could pick that up and try to do a forensic analysis of the data. But who knows what led to that cell phone being on the side of the street. So I'm not going to mess with it. That's not cool. Who knows what kind of crazy thing may have gone down, and then if you're sitting there trying to perform a forensic analysis, and it's just not worth messing with, man. So I'm going to leave that on the side of the street. But that was pretty interesting. But yeah, the new MacBook Pros, I don't know. I can't see the business need, at least currently, for something faster. I mean, I'm able to rip through. Yesterday, I edited and exported about 9 coin review videos. Did that with my iMac M1 edits like a breeze. So, until there's a use case that requires me to have more processing power and or more memory, I just, I can zip through 4K video edits with what I got now. So again, as I preach always, it's all about ROI, return on investment. So if I'm investing in something for my businesses, then why would I spend for something that I don't need? So I mean, right now I've got the best of both worlds. I got portability with the MacBook Air M1, and I've got in studio with awesome 4.5K display, the iMac M1. So I've got the best of both worlds. If I want to really tear into some video editing and photo editing and have that extra resolution, I've got the iMac. If I'm out in the field, I've still got a very nice display on the MacBook Air M1. So I can tell if my videos are too dark, too light. Do I need to adjust the exposure within my photos? How do things look? How should things look for someone on the internet with a good computer or a smartphone that's viewing my content? So, I'm able to do everything I need to do with my current setup. So I'm excited to see, that being said, I'm excited to see what Apple brings out, because, that'll foreshadow the future. But, I'm not right now I don't have the business need to purchase any additional equipment. So, you know, your needs may be different, but let's see what Apple releases tomorrow. It'll be fun anyway. I tell you, Tim Cook does a good job with these, these Apple events, but you know, nobody will ever replace Steve Jobs when he was at the helm. I mean, he was a unique cat. I like Tim Cook. Tim Cook's good, but he's just not. I mean, he's brilliant. He's a multi-millionaire, billionaire, if not, probably not a billionaire, but a multi-millionaire. And he's smart, but he's just not. He's not the innovator that Steve Jobs was, and I don't think anybody ever will be. You know, he was a cool dude. But yeah, so we got the Apple event coming, and we've got, you know, the new, probably the Mavic 3, and you know, I'm interested in the DJI Action 2. You know, the new DJI camera is coming out. That I will probably pick up, just because it's supposed to be, as we were talking yesterday, it's supposed to have a modular design and, you know, kind of unique configuration. So I'm excited to see what it brings to the table. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's all this. This will be an interesting month, and actually the next few months, it's something you may not have realized: supply chain issues. If you haven't realized, well, I'm sure you probably realized. But yeah, let's see. Here's another piece of trash on the side of the street. What is this? Some sort of, I don't know. But yeah, so if you're shopping for Christmas, you know, shopping for Christmas presents, you're probably already late, because, you know, I made the mistake. You know, I allocate X amount of dollars to Christmas shopping every year, and typically, you know, I pull those funds together around August, and I was a month late this year of delivery of the funds for you know, that I'd allocated for Christmas shopping, and I kind of regret that I was late, because the thing is, a lot of stuff now is on back order. So, you know, if you're ordering certain Christmas gifts, you know, a lot of those are probably an expected 2 months or so out right now. So, I mean, you know, even if you're ordering now, you think, oh, I'm ahead of the pack. You're probably behind. So there's probably gonna be a lot of disappointed people at Christmas. So yeah, if you didn't factor in the supply chain issues with Christmas shopping, then you're probably not the only one. I know I'm messed up and didn't see that coming, but hopefully everything comes together. I delegate the Christmas shopping duties to my wife. I was like, here's the cash. Get what you think we need. So that way it's, you know, it's just easy to manage. But there's that sketchy phone again that's cracked in the parking lot. Look at that. Man, don't tell me what went down. Makes you curious, you know, you wanna look at it, but I would never touch anything like that. That could be, you know, that could be criminal evidence as far as I know, and I don't want to mess with that. That's the thing now, even a phone that seems to be inoperable, those things can still be tracked. So in theory, you know, just as a curiosity, if I did fire that phone up and tried to retrieve data or whatever, I mean, you know, your location is pinging. So as far as you know, it could be like, you know, that phone back there could have belonged to the mafia or something, and they could be tracking it and trying to retrieve their whatever. I mean, who knows? Best not to touch things. You know, if something looks sketchy, you know, it's best to just keep your distance and not get involved. But, you know, with that said, it's pretty interesting. There's a cracked Android phone just on the side of the street. You know, it's like, what happened? You kind of want to know, but, you know, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's just going to stay there. And probably somebody else that's curious and doesn't think things through might pick it up and might take a look at it. It's crazy what you can do, though, with forensic analysis of a phone, of a smartphone. I mean, you can get so much data, man. if you perform a forensic analysis of an Android or an iPhone, even stuff that people felt that they deleted, it's still often there within the memory. So, you know, even if somebody thinks, oh, I deleted all that, there's a lot of stuff that can be retrieved using smartphone forensic analysis software. So always be aware of that. And the reason I say that is that anything you do, you know, here's the thing. I don't do anything shady anyway, but, you know, everything I do, I expect to be tracked in public record. So with that mentality, I don't care. But people that, you know, that do crazy and shady things, they probably don't realize that, oh man, it's so easy to be tracked. I mean, even if somebody pushes a delete button, doesn't mean it's gone. I mean, there's still all kinds of data out there that people with even a moderate amount of technical abilities can potentially retrieve. So, you know, something to be aware of. And, you know, that goes out to all the, you know, one of the ones that's, you know, one of the funniest use cases is, you know, people that are out there that are not just necessarily doing shady things, but like, I mean, you know, people think they can't get caught doing things. They can. It's easy. So always remember that. Okay, so transitioning into another topic. What does this emergency button do? Emergency. Don't push it. Don't push it, man. Don't push the button. So, yeah, just walking, burning some fat. Burned 70 calories so far, not much. I went and got some hot dog buns and grilled some hot dogs. Got some salt and vinegar chips, hot dog buns, and hot dogs. Simple and effective. Simple and effective. So yeah, I'm gonna do like I said, you're gonna try to get a live studio show rolling this evening. That's my intent. Again, everybody just tuning in, welcome aboard. And again, I want to apologize. I've been less active on YouTube the past day or so because I did the Death Reaper challenge, which I highly recommend everybody doing. But it took me a day or so to recover from it, man. I mean, it was hot, it was spicy, and I've learned now that I don't have an extreme tolerance to spice like I thought I did. I mean, that was a learning opportunity, man. It really was. And I recommend everybody try that Death Reaper challenge. It's good stuff. Tasted great. It knocked me down for a day or so, though. Yeah, we've got so the Apple event, the DJI event, Sony. So Sony has released new G Master lenses. They're supposed to be a little bit faster with the autofocus, and I think they may be a little bit lighter. I'm not personally interested because I've got the two that I feel are essential. I've got the 24 to 70, which is pretty much on my A7R4 most of the time. Then I've got the 16 to 35 G Master, which if I'm doing wide landscape photography and or videography, I use it. And then I've got what I call my bear lens, as in bear, B-E-A-R, like the animal, grrr. And that's my Sigma 100 to 400. I really like that lens. It's one of the non-Sony brand lenses that I feel does an exceptional job when paired with a Sony Alpha camera. Full frame lens. You can kick it from auto focus to manual focus. Very nice. I wish they had a, what's the word for it? A teleconverter that would work with it. That would be nice. But 400 millimeters is often more than enough for bears. And keep in mind, you can always kick it into APS-C mode and you're getting more of a zoom type look than you do in full frame. So that's 400 millimeters in full frame. I'd have to do the calculation to see what it would be in APS-C. But yeah, Sony's coming out also with the Sony A7 IV. So you're probably like, well, why would people want that? Because, you know, in my case, I've got the Sony A7R4, the Sony A7 Romeo 4. High resolution, excellent for stills, excellent for video. But I'm excited about the A7 IV because it's supposed to have a flip forward LCD. So for face on video segments, great being able to see if you're properly framed. Also, I think it may do 4K 60. So I will actually probably pick up the A7 IV because I need a B camera, and that would become my primary video camera, and then my A7R IV would be my primary stills camera, you know, for portraiture and landscape photography. So yeah, A7 IV is coming. That's something I'm excited about. I got to change my keys out, man. I got my keys in one pocket, and I don't want to rub a blister on the side of my leg. That's what'll happen when you're walking with keys in your pocket. They're kind of sharp, and they'll cut your leg through your pants. So always remember that if you do a lot of walking, change the pocket that you use for your keys. Always keep them in one pocket. You're gonna end up cutting into your leg probably. It's just not cool. Everybody's quiet today, man. What's up? Got a lot of people tuning in. Quiet crowd. What's everybody doing today? It's a Sunday in the United States of America. Yes, it is. Traffic's pretty intense today, man. People getting out of church, going to get their afternoon food items. Yes, they are. Yeah, burned about 100 calories so far, which isn't that great, but getting there. That's the thing, man. In the winter, or in the summer when it's really hot, I do the IC4, and I love that thing. By the way, I need to film a follow-up video, Schwinn IC4 follow-up review, because I haven't filmed one in a few months. That bike's amazing because you get excellent exercise. It's got magnetic resistance, so it's smooth, quiet, and predictable. And it doesn't take up a lot of floor space. And if you needed to move it, you know, from one room to another, it's easy to roll around or simply pick up and move. So, yeah, it's a great bike, but it's hard to beat the, the outdoors workout because, you know, it's just, you get the fresh air, you get the vitamin D, is in Delta, and all of that stuff. So, yeah, it's hard to beat an outdoor workout when the weather is conducive. So, yeah, it's, but yeah, I love the Schwinn IC4 for indoor. And I tell you, I will repeat this over and over. Apple, in my opinion, has done a phenomenal job with the Apple Fitness Plus program for doing your indoor cycling, indoor treadmill, if you got a treadmill, indoor rowing. I mean, it's just an incredible tool. And I love how I get Apple Fitness Plus. I get it bundled with, I get some iCloud storage, and I get the other stuff that comes with it. I think was it News, which I don't use that, but then there's another, what's the other thing that comes with it? I think it's Arcade. I don't use that. But just for the Apple Fitness Plus alone, you know, it's worth it. Oh, it comes with Apple TV Plus, which is actually pretty good. They've got a few shows that are quite decent. So, yeah, I've enjoyed using that. So it's a pretty good deal. Got to get back in the gym. It's nice having access to a big gym with free weights and a ton of machines. But right now I'm just focusing on cardio. And, you know, as we mentioned in the past, cardio only is not enough because, you know, you can lose weight, you can maintain your weight, but if you don't do strength training in with it, you're not getting the toning. So that's what I'm missing out on right now, is the toning, and got to get back in the gym and start doing the regular gym routine again. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting few weeks with Sony, DJI, and Apple all bringing new stuff, new technology to the table. That's going to be really neat. Kind of disappointed about the new Apple Watch. I've got the Series 6, which I like, but there's really nothing with the Series 7 that to me justifies an upgrade. So I'm gonna stick with the Series 6. Anybody else out there, Apple Watch guy? You gonna pick up the 7? Do you have a, if you are, do you have an existing Apple Watch? Which version are you using? Yeah, so man, nice weather, man. You're getting down below 70 degrees Fahrenheit. You're in Georgia. Super nice weather. Super nice. Got more people tuning in. Welcome aboard, y'all. We got the church crowd tuning in now. They got out of church. They're coming to listen to Irix Guy during the walk show. Got some, again, Appalachian Trail. Going to be filming a ton of stuff. Can't wait to get those videos edited and pumped out. Share with the world. If you've never done the Appalachian Trail, you need to. It's great, great exercise, great scenery. Just relaxing. You got that fresh air because of the elevation. You got a bunch of trees. Provide some shade. And the deadfall you can use to start a campfire. It's great. Well, burned not much, 124 calories. That's not enough, but I'm getting there. I gotta just keep on walking, man. Keep on walking. But yeah, walking is good because it's not that bad on your joints. I prefer to cycle. But again, when I got hit by a car with a road bike, I banned cycling for myself because there was the risk wasn't worth the reward. I'm like, okay, I'll do indoor cycling, but you know, I'm not gonna get on the road anymore because of all the people texting while driving. I think people that are texting while driving are more dangerous than people that are drunk while driving. I mean, I don't know. I mean, both could be equally dangerous, but when you're dealing with someone texting while driving, you know, their eyes are not on the road. You know, their eyes are down on the phone. It's a really scary thing. So, you know, for that reason, even when I'm walking off the road like I am now, if I hear a car coming, I always turn around and look, because you never know. That person could be texting and driving, and they could be off the road and hit you, run you over. So, you know, just because you're not riding a bike doesn't make you immune to being run over by a car that's texting while driving. It's really dangerous times we're in right now, and we've been in for a while. Just all the distracted drivers, you know, not safe at all. But I feel reasonably safe when I walk as opposed to cycling. But yeah, man, I miss the road biking. Back before we had smartphones, things have started to change when Motorola came out with that Razr. You know, it was a flip phone, and you could send text messages, but you had to type like a letter, like a number on the phone, like maybe 3 or so times to get the letter that you wanted. So for that reason, texting didn't really seem like a convenient way to communicate. And then, of course, they released the smartphones and the text and the voice to text and that sort of thing, and it just really caught on. And then that's when, you know, that's when road biking became a thing of the past, unfortunately. And I know a lot of people that still do it, but I also know a lot of people that still road bike that have been hit by cars. And it's not, you know, when you're hit by a car on a bike, you know, the probability of serious injury is pretty high. So, you know, it's not like a vehicle to vehicle accident, which can be deadly as well. But, you know, if you're on a bike, you're pretty much doomed if you get hit by a car, even at a moderate rate of speed. So, that being the case, be safe and, perform your own analysis. What's the risk? What's the reward? Is cycling on the roadway worth the risk? Okay, if so, why? For me, it's not, because I enjoyed it. It gave you the ability to go from one location to another. The scenery stayed fresh. And then once you got to your turnaround point, assuming you weren't doing a loop, you had to go back. There was no way around it. So there's no quitting and saying, oh, I'm too tired, I'm too lazy. You had to keep going. And that was a good thing about cycling. And then they had the big rides. You do the competitive rides. I did a 100-mile one time. That was a good workout. I ate 2 foot-long subs after I finished. Really made me hungry. But yeah, nowadays, nope. No thank you. Bicycle on the road, no. Not worth it. Not worth the risk. It's a shame. But, and I guess you could say, well, I'll ride in abandoned parking lots, but how boring is that? Walking in abandoned parking lots is somewhat okay. I do it all the time, as you can see here. But, it's, it is what it is. But I think, biking on the roadways, definitely safe, and such a good workout, though. I miss it. And I miss tuning up the bike, repair stand, and all the tools. Helder Hugo, hi. No flying, just walk. Yeah, man. Welcome aboard. How are you doing today? Welcome to the walk. Faculty and staff. Yeah, so just doing the live walk, man. Thank you. I'm okay. Great. It's great to have you on board. And I was telling everybody else earlier, we've got, walking is good for sure. We're doing a studio live show today. This is just the warm-up for the rest of the day. I want to get in this good cardio workout and try to burn some fat and that sort of stuff. Good to have you on board, man. Burned only 154 calories so far. I will say the Apple Watch is a pretty good estimator of calories burned. It seems to do a good job. This is one thing I've really enjoyed. I don't look at it as a gadget. I look at it as a tool. When I'm working out, man, I can't work out without my Apple Watch on my wrist. I really enjoy it. And it's comfortable. I just got the basic aluminum with the rubber strap. And it's fine, man. It does a great job. Yep. Washed the car today. Made sure it was clean. That's something I think is important. Even if you're not, and I do a lot of sales stuff, so I think, presentation is always important. But I think that, you can really, first impressions, there's a few things that come into play. Number one is, the initial impressions in sales are so important. So, how do you look? How do you dress? That's important. How, it's super important to look good, look professional. And which watch you wearing? That's important. Watch and shoes, man. And if you remember that, it's all about being professionally groomed, wearing a nice watch, wearing nice shoes, but also the cleanliness of one's transportation. It doesn't have to be a fancy car, but just something that's clean. That says a lot. If somebody pulls up and they've got fast food burgers and sacks and stuff under their seat, and they got grease all over their steering wheel and their stick, that's not a good impression. So, you know, remember, always keep things clean. Now, I've got the problem with keeping things clean to where I don't want there to be dust or anything. So I take it to another level. You know, I don't, you know, when I cleaned the vehicle today, I made sure that there was no dust. I hand dried it, and there's no water spots on the outside. I cleaned the inside with a warm, moist towel to remove any, you know, dust and fingerprints from anything. So, you know, it looks nice, and that's important, because you want to have, you always want to be, when you're in sales, you want to be interpreted as just very well organized, and not just put together your stuff. And then your place of business, if you have a brick and mortar location, that's important to keep it clean and organized, because, you know, non-verbally, cleanliness and organization speak volumes. So, you know, always remember that. You know, you don't want to be perceived as sloppy, because you're going to have buyers that may not say anything that will question you just based upon those visual observations. So, you know, just something to be aware of. And even if you're not in sales, it's still a good skill set to remember. You know, keep things clean, keep things organized. You know, always look professional. You know, always wear a nice wristwatch. Always, just stupid stuff, man. I mean, you finish eating a meal, right? What do most people do? Well, what most people don't do is to remember, you turn your fork over and put it on a certain position on the plate. So when you do that, you know, potential customers, you know, whomever you're dining with, they know, okay, well, this individual knows something. You know, they're sophisticated. So, you know, just small things like that. So, I mean, here's the thing, you can hang with the most, let's just say the most, not necessarily snooty, but the most elite group of people, and you can present yourself in a way and behave in a way that says you got class, and money can't buy class. And that's something that, you know, in today's world, you know, you've got all of these overnight millionaires and billionaires, but regardless of how many you know, hundreds of millions of dollars they've generated, they may or may not have any class. So that's important. And I think class and sophistication trumps an extreme amount of wealth. What do y'all think? Just something people don't think about. But yeah, we're yeah, this society we're in is pretty much doomed. So, you know, hold on to the things that you know, and you know, hopefully everything will rebound for the better here soon. But I'm afraid, man, we're not. I mean, it's probably gonna be 2024, if not later, before we get on the turnaround track for the better. You know, I think it's gonna get a lot worse before it gets better, and that's my opinion. And I consider myself to be an optimistic person, but I'm also a realist, and I don't think we've seen the worst yet. I think all of this, you know, all these things that are going on politically right now, I think it's all going to be, they're going to come out with new things and try to make things be perceived as worse than they are, and it's just going to be a mess. Now, what I'd like to know is this. You got this perfect line, and then some idiot spilled the paint. So what do you do in that situation? Just like, oops, I was marking the parking lot and I spilled paint? Or do you just leave it there? Apparently they just left it there. That's what they did. And over here, look at this. This right here, what could have been a fine job, you got an arrow, right? Why didn't you fill that in with yellow paint? I mean, is it really that much more expensive to just add a few more brush strokes? Corners, people cut corners, man. people cut corners. If there's a corner that can be cut, they're going to do it nowadays. And that goes with home construction, vehicle repair, anything, most anything. If there's a corner that can be cut and people feel that people will probably overlook that cut corner, that corner is probably going to be cut. Because in today's world, a handshake means nothing. Used to, if you shook hand on something and said, hey, I know you're going to take care of me, you're going to do it right, you could count on that being done. Now, if people even shake your hand, they're probably afraid to shake your hand because it might get sick. They're afraid if they shake your hand, they're going to get sick or whatever. But if they do shake your hand, a handshake today means nothing. I mean, it's really, our society is doomed. And that's just the truth. I think that's where everybody does now, anywhere in the world. Yeah, it's a shame. What happened to performing a quality job? Actually caring about what you do. If you don't care about it, don't do it. Become involved with a different industry. I mean, that's the way I look at it. But I mean, the thing is now, as we know, with with all the government handouts, I mean, it's created an environment where a lot of people feel that they don't want to work. They're just going to take advantage of what they think is the free money. In reality, what's happening is the workforce, the lower tier of the workforce that's taking that opportunity as they feel that it is, they're doing nothing, which is creating short staffing. So then it's just slowing everything down. I mean, it's playing into the supply chain issue because there's a lot of, every step on the ladder matters, from bottom to top. And if there's missing steps towards the bottom of the ladder, again, these holes that have been created by people not working because they feel they can just sit at home and get paid to do nothing. That's creating issues that are, they're trickling up. It's creating the supply chain issues. It's cost of goods are going up astronomically. And people that don't think that, people are like, man, you're crazy, man. Things not that much more expensive. It's not just gasoline. I mean, gasoline's going up, but you've also got everything that's shipped. Look at a jar of pickles. Look at a bag of potato chips. Look at meat. Beef and chicken. Oh my gosh. Cleaning products. And then taxes. I mean, look at all of this combined. I mean, it's blatantly, if you look at each item, it's blatantly clear that, everything's going up, and people are like, well, that's just a few cents. And in certain situations, it may be. But when you're taking a few cents and then a few dollars on top of almost every item, on top of almost every service, those increases become very significant. So it should not be unnoticed. And a lot of people just say, oh, it's just a few bucks here and there, don't worry about it. They don't stop to think, the long-term repercussions and this, that, and the other. So, don't consider myself to be super intelligent, but I do know that now's the time to try to save and plan, because I think things are going to get a lot worse before they get better. And I think now, smart people are planning for the possible collapse of the economy. Not to go to the extreme, but what's going to happen when nobody's working, when everybody's expecting a government handout. We're already surrendering our freedom of speech. Political correctness is one of the biggest things driving that, and some people don't even realize it. We're surrendering our freedoms, and when we surrender our freedoms, it's not just like, oh well, I don't care, I'm just going to let you do this for me because I know you'll make a better decision. That's not talking about the government. The reality is that people are there. Here's the thing: you give anything up, you're probably never going to get it back. especially when it comes to the government. So most any freedom that's surrendered to the government often doesn't come back. So if people voluntarily give away their freedom of speech, they give away their freedom of health choices. Do I want to get the flu shot? Do I not want to get the flu shot? That kind of stuff. It should be a choice. But people are giving this stuff up, and it's creating a what's the word for it? It's creating a situation that is really going to wreck society. And I mean, this isn't fear mongering. This isn't anything like that. It's just, it just makes sense. When you give away your personal freedoms and you let the government control it, oh man, it's going to get nasty. So with that being said, I'm just trying to keep everybody up and in good spirits. But remember what's going on politically, and even if you choose to not watch the news, I don't. But if you just focus upon piecing together the evidence yourself, and what I mean by that is that you don't have to turn on the news to feel that you're educated as to what's going on in the world. You don't. All you got to do is go to a fast food restaurant, go to a gas station, go to a butcher shop, go to a grocery store, go get your oil changed, go to the car wash, do things like that. And take notes. What'd you spend? Write down the day and the amount. Do the same thing a few days later. Same things. Write down the day and the amount. Do the same thing a few weeks later. Write down the day and the amount. Do the same thing a few months later. Write down the day and the amount. Look at that and say, hey, is there something going on here? I think that's all the news that anyone needs. You assemble it yourself. There's no bias. You're performing the same actions. The only difference is what you're probably going to see on that bottom line after all of those services and or products are totaled. And that's where people need to realize, okay, well, if this, then what? And again, that goes back to entrepreneurism. And that is saying, okay, well, if increase is X $100, X $1,000, whatever, then how do you make up for the difference? And probably what you're going to find is that, this is where it gets nasty. Someone can create a ton of businesses. Someone can operate an abundance of businesses concurrently. But see, what happens here is that this is going to go to the point, this inflation, price of everything, goods and services, to where you can't catch up. And if you are catching up, then they bump you in another tax bracket and they put you down again. So it's an unwinnable, I don't want to say it's a situation that can't be won, but it's a situation where individuals are at a disadvantage. So, look at all this stuff. Don't freak yourself out. Just, keep that log book. If you use an iPhone, load up the Notes app and just write those numbers down. Every time you go and buy a good or a service, write that amount down and what it was. And you're going to see a scary upward trend that, eventually it's going to get to the point to where it can't be ignored, especially if you're, it's scary, man. It is scary stuff. So again, not trying to freak people out. I like to speak non-politically and look at the numbers only. And if you do that, you're not basing your opinions based upon what you saw in the almighty news. You're basing your opinions upon numbers, and those are the opinions that should count. So again, I don't watch the news. I hate the news. It's just a bunch of paid propaganda is all it is. But that's my opinion. So I respect y'all's opinions, and thank y'all for tuning in. gonna do a live studio show. We'll get into some fun stuff. But appreciate y'all joining me for my walk. I burned almost 300 calories, which isn't enough, as I will be eating hot dogs. And those aren't really that healthy, but who cares? See y'all later. Be safe and subscribe and ring that bell icon if you haven't already.